back to my YouTube channel. If you've subscribed, then welcome back, and if you haven't yet, please hit subscribe because it means the world to me. I will be talking about something that may trigger some people. I'll be talking about binge eating disorder, BED, in this video. So if that's something that's not for you, please get out of this one. Go find something that makes you happy. Don't bother watching mine. Thank you. So I asked people on Instagram what they wanted to see from me, and a lot of you picked binge eating. Now, I've suffered with this for around 10 years of my life, and it's only really this year, around December time last year really, that I realised what I was doing to myself. So for 10 whole years I was doing it and not realising it. That's crazy. This is something that is really close to my heart. It's very emotional for me, so I might get a little bit teary. So I'm sorry about that. If I do, I'll try not to. I'm an emotional person. So what is BED, binge eating disorder? It was only classed as an eating disorder, as a mental illness in 2013. So it's still relatively new. It's very taboo to talk about. I don't see many people talking about it. I found it quite hard to reach out to people who are going through the same thing. But when I started telling people on TikTok and Instagram my story, started saying about me binge eating, I had so many messages, comments, people reaching out to me wanting help. How do I stop this? And it made me realise there are so many people out there going through this who are way too nervous to talk about it. And we need to stop that, girls. It's so popular as well. Popular is a weird word, isn't it? I don't mean popular. I mean, it's the most common eating disorder. So about 1.9 to 2.8% of the whole population is binge eating, and 40% of that is from men as well. And I know that men find it very hard to talk about their emotions. They find it hard to talk about mental illness. Please don't. Please reach out and get help. Binge eating isn't just overeating now and again. Binge eating is planning a binge and eating large amounts of food in one sitting, often when you're not hungry, and often eating until you've gone past the feeling of feeling hungry to even feeling sick, and sometimes even going further and eating more until you are sick. Not to be confused with bulimia, that's a completely different eating disorder. You often get this immense feeling of shame and guilt after it as well. I know I did. I'd go to bed in tears because of the shame of doing it. And I just want to say one thing: please do not feel guilty. Please do not feel shame. You're not alone. There are so many people going through this, and there's so much help out there for you as well. It's normal, and you're normal. I will also say that I'm no expert in this. I haven't got a medical profession. I'm no expert, but I'm just going to tell you my story and how I learned to stop it. And I'm also going to put some links and helplines in the description for you. So if you do want further help, please take a look at those, and also go see your GP. That's very important as well. To realise whether you've got a BED, binge eating disorder, or you're just overeating, is to think about the following things. Are you planning your binges? Are you spending large amounts of money on food? Are you hiding food and hiding evidence, wrappers around the house, in your bedroom, and keeping it from people? Are you eating quickly so you don't even taste the food? And this one's a big one for me. Are you eating to fill a void? Are you eating because you feel emotional, you're stressed, you're trying to cover uncomfortable feelings with food? That's the biggest one for me. And also, it doesn't mean that if you have one or two of these and not all of them, it still doesn't mean that you don't have a binge eating disorder. Not one size fits all. For example, a lot of people with BED are scared to eat in public. I don't find that at all. I'm not scared to eat in front of people. But before I jump in and tell you how I've managed to stop my BED, when I say stop, I do still get urges, guys. It's still there, but I'm working on it really hard. I haven't binged in 6 whole months, and that makes me so happy. Sorry. It makes me feel so emotional because it's so hard to do. It really is. But you can do it. It feels really impossible, but honestly, take it from me, you can do it. So yeah, before I go into all of that, I want to tell you my story, how I started and how I realised that I had this, and then how I got out of it. So when I was 19, I won't tell you what happened, but something happened with me that changed my life forever. It caused a lot of heartbreak. It was very hard for me, and it's still hard for me now. I'm so sorry for getting emotional. I am really sorry, I'm trying. But something happened, and when that happened, it changed me forever. I was a different girl after that. And it made me depressed, it made me anxious, and all of these things I didn't get help for until I was 24. For a whole 5 years, I used to sneak food into my university house. I'd hide it under my bed, I'd hide it in my bedroom. I stopped cleaning up after myself because I was down. I stopped looking after myself because when you're not feeling yourself, you don't care. You don't care about yourself. I'm so sorry for getting emotional. I know I'm going to keep on saying so. I'll probably say sorry like 5,000 times in this video. What I'd do, and this is so hard for me to say, but what I'd do is after lectures, I'd maybe go out for food with a friend, and then I'd go home and know that I've eaten lunch, but I'd eat another lunch because it would make me feel better. I feel like it maybe gave me some more control over my life. And I was really good at this because I don't think my friends in university, I don't think my family knew about this. My mother certainly didn't, because I told her about it a couple of months ago and she was really in shock. So what I'd do as well is after lectures, I'd make some sort of excuse to break up with a friend. So we'd be walking home together, maybe she'd say, shall I come over to watch some telly? And I'd say something like, oh, not tonight, I've got this and that on. So as soon as she left, I'd walk to the uni shop and I'd buy some snacks, maybe like £20 worth of food and snacks, and I was a skint student. And I spent a lot of money on food, and I'd sort of rush it into the uni house, hoping nobody was in the living room. If they were, I'd just like take the bag into my bedroom as if it was like files or something. And I'd put it in my bedroom and I'd hide it. And then I'd think, right, when am I going to eat this? And what snack am I going to eat in what sequence? And I'd wait for a time that maybe my friends weren't in the living room so they couldn't hear me. And I didn't realise that this was a problem. I really didn't. The same thing goes for when I moved home after university. It carried on for years. Until, well, 10 years, 10 whole years of doing this. I hid it from my parents, from my family, from my friends, from my relationships at the time. Nobody knew about this, but I was gaining weight. And I was yo-yoing as well. So I'd go on a diet and I'd stop binging for maybe a month or two. I'd lose a load of weight really quickly because I've cut everything off. And then I'd start putting weight on again because the urge to binge was too strong. Yeah, I wanted to be skinny. Yeah, I wanted to feel healthier, but eating that food was more important to me at that time, and that's horrendous. It was in December that I realised that I had a problem. I was looking in the mirror and I was the biggest I've ever been, and this is saying something now, because 2 years ago I went on a crash diet and I lost a lot of weight and I was the skinniest I'd been for ages. I put on weight so quickly because I binged my way through 2 years of my life. A whole stone of that was in December last year. And this is when I realised I had a problem, a massive problem, and it was getting out of hand. What I had was a stockpile of food, and the anxiety that I felt when that food pile went down was horrendous. Every time I went shopping, no matter who I was with, my boyfriend, my parents, I'd buy a load of party food, and I'd tell them that I was meeting up with friends and that's why I was buying the party food, or any sort of food like chocolates and things, or I'd say they were a gift for someone, but they weren't. All that food was for me. And this stockpile became my life, this bag. So in 1 month it got so bad that I had this stockpile that took over my life. This is so hard. I'd also tell my sister, who I was living with, that it was for parties. I asked her actually last night whether she remembered this bag, and she did. I don't think she thought anything of it. So when I realised that I had a problem, I really looked at myself and realised I went on the biggest binge of my life. I decided that on the 6th of January I was going to change my life. So for 2 whole weeks, was it 2 weeks? Yeah, around 2 whole weeks, I ate and ate and ate and ate, and then I ate some more. I ate so much. I'd eat entire pizzas from Domino's, and then I'd eat biscuits after it, like chocolate biscuits, and then I'd eat crisps, and I'd also eat and eat and eat until I was nearly sick. So when I decided to start my diet on the 6th of January, I decided that I wasn't going to follow a specific plan. I decided that I wasn't going to diet, that I was going to change my life forever, that binge eating wasn't going to take over my life. I really made a decision to be a better person for my family, for my boyfriend, for my friends. I was going to overcome this for all of them and for myself. I spoke to my GP and I looked up a lot of stuff online. I did so much research on how to stop this, and still at this point in January I haven't told anyone. It's only this month that I've started to tell people exactly what I did, and it's like a weight is lifted off my shoulders. I swear, it feels so liberating, and I'm so glad that I've done it. First thing that helped me was looking for triggers. I wrote down everything that I ate, and every time I felt a binge on, I thought to myself, right, why is this happening? Why do I want to binge? And it was always for some sort of emotional problem. If I was feeling down, I just want to eat a lot of food. So I decided to look for those triggers. I starred those triggers down in a journal, and I might post that journal soon as well on Instagram to show people what I did. And when I felt those triggers come on, instead of going for loads of food, I decided to spend like an hour cooking a really nice meal. I'd go out and I'd buy ingredients and I'd make a really nice, healthy, balanced meal, and I'd enjoy it. And that made me feel so much better than any chocolate biscuit or any packet of crisps ever made me feel. I also decided to use this time to take care of myself. So when I felt a trigger coming on, I'd go and have a really long bath. I'd curl my hair. I'd spend really long on a makeup look. I'd do my nails. I reached out to a friend. I'd meet up with my family, take the dog for a walk. I'd do things that I enjoy. And again, doing these things made me feel so much happier than any piece of food I ever would. I'd also plan my food better, so I'd plan what I was having for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and I'd plan my snacks around there as well. I do this by calorie counting and using my MyFitnessPal to put everything that I eat on there, and that helped me so much because I knew when the next meal was going to come. I didn't think, right, when am I going to have lunch? What am I going to have? And then panic into eating a lot of food. So when I go food shopping now, I go food shopping with the intent of using up all of those ingredients with my weekly food plan. I've also addressed my mental illnesses, my mental health. This is hard to talk about, obviously. I think anyone with depression and anxiety find it really difficult to speak to people. But we're all in this together, guys. So many people go through this around the world. We're not alone. There are always people you can talk to. There's always the GP to go to. There are always psychiatrists and counsellors, and we need to speak to these people and make ourselves better. We come first. It's also important not to go more than around 3 to 4 hours without food. So if I have breakfast at say 9 a.m, I know I'll have lunch at 12 or 1, because going into the extreme hunger state where you feel very, very, very hungry is a massive trigger for binge eating and overeating. So keeping yourself balanced with nice, balanced, healthy meals will help, definitely. So I also take a small look at my macros. I'm not really pedantic about it because I don't want to get too obsessive over food for obvious reasons. But I do try to get as much protein in as I can, because protein and fibre as well will keep you nice and full and keep that hunger at bay, because like I said, hunger can be such a big trigger. What's also helped me is putting everything down on TikTok and Instagram. I'm more honest now because I realise that the more that I let out, the more I let myself out there, the more I realise that I'm not alone, the more I realise that there are other people going through this. And then when I've realised that I've started to help people, that warms my heart, I swear. When I've realised I've started to help people, I can't stop doing this now. No way am I going to binge and ruin all of this, because it's not just me at stake anymore. It's all of you as well, the people that are counting on me, and I'm going to do this for you, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you. There's more to life than food. There really is. Food isn't the be all and end all. Even if you're changing your lifestyle and you're obsessing over the food, the healthier food that you're eating now, it doesn't matter. What matters is family, friends, going out for walks with them, spending time with people that you love. That's what matters. Food is nothing. It's just something to keep you energized and to get you through the day. Like I said, for me, my new hobby, let's call it, is this. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of my time goes into this now. Less time to think about binging. And I think finding a hobby for yourself, if you're struggling with this, will help you as well. You could get into puzzles. I know people who have started doing TikTok dances, and they do that really well. They stand there learning how to dance for ages. Get into reading, get into listening to podcasts, get into going for walks, into certain exercises. Find an exercise that you love. If you've got this far, I just want to say a massive thank you. You sitting here and watching this and listening to my journey honestly means the world to me, and your support is very much appreciated. It would also mean the world to me if you subscribed and gave this video a thumbs up. If you could also comment down below what you'd like to see in the next one, that would be great. Thank you. I love new ideas. And yeah, it's been emotional. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.